Today we're going to be looking at the new AL Box 2 for Alephium mining. So we know that Goldshell released their first AL Box, and this is actually their second iteration. So they posted this yesterday. I kind of knew that they were going to be coming out with something soon. There was kind of like rumors around. And obviously we're still waiting on Bitmain. I think because of the price of Alephium, if we look here, price of Alephium is not great right now. We're at around $1, and previously if we look in the last 3 months, we were up to around $3. So that was kind of the peak, and the top all-time high was around $3. However, I don't think that Bitmain are going to release this until Alephium's price picks up, because they are running it as a business, and obviously they want to sell a lot of miners. And they can't really do that if the figures for profitability are kind of low right now on their miners. They have to outbeat the market, and it looks good for them if they release it while the price is high on Alephium. So I think that they definitely were close around 3 months ago when the all-time high, if that had continued going on or at least stayed a little steady, I think Bitmain already have it on hand and they would have released it. However, let's just talk about the AL Box 2. So we have 720 gigahash and we have around plus or minus 5% on that. So you could get up to, what is that, 730 or 710 maybe, and then 360 watts plus or minus 5% as well. So not really much difference in terms of actually how powerful these are. I believe they're exactly the same, just doubled up. If we look here, this is the original Goldshell AL box. You can see it was selling for around 4,550 right here, but if we look back on videos previously, I believe it was selling for a lot more, around 8,000, and then the original batch was 15,000. So this is quite cheap compared to basically what we had around 3 months ago. And that was obviously sold just because the price of Alephium was giving good returns at the time. Subsequently, they've lowered the price, which obviously means, in my opinion, that a lot of these miners, and we've kind of known this for a while, they can sell it at a way reduced price than what they're making it for. I think the margins, or at least the markup, on pretty much all ASIC miners are incredibly high right now. Because if we go on the 15,000 figure, the markup there, even if this was selling at the lowest rate to still be profitable for Goldshell, you would have a markup around 150% on top of these AL boxes, which is crazy, and we know that this has kind of been going on for a while. So the AL box is making $11.15 per day. I believe at the start it was making around $100 per day, around 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when they first came out. ROI times, as you see there, around 400 days, so about a year, depending on where you get it from, and they're selling for 3,400-ish. It keeps going up in price, obviously, as you get outwards from the US. I think mainly the US ones are a decent price to buy, but if you're in any other place, you are going to pay a lot more for these. So if we look at the profitability over 6 months, this is the full chart. We can see it was massively profitable up here, $137 per day, and it's kind of just declined with the price of Alephium. Now let's look at the AL Box 2. So this is the updated version that they just released. We have $22.74 per day. So it's basically double the hash rate and double the power. So efficiency is pretty much the same. You're just going to mine more coins overall. So not really much difference. I don't know what they tweaked in it. Maybe they added just an extra hash board into it. Maybe there was one in the first one and then they've added another one into this and basically sold it as double hash rate, double power. This would have been a good move if they had a lot of boards left over from this one and they were like, okay, let's just roll it into this one as a new miner and sell that one out as well. Maybe they have extra stock of those boards and they thought, we'll just put it into this new miner and sell it off. They haven't actually released a price yet for this, but I'm going to assume it's around $8,000 for one of these. I know on ASIC miner value that we see here, there's actually one listed for $3,275. I don't think this is actually a real price, but if it was, the ROI would be around 161 days. I think they're just going to sell it at double the price of whatever the first AL box is, just because it's double the hash rate, double the power, which means a price of around $8,000, and the ROI as of now will probably be a year However, we are going into a bull run, quote unquote. It's still up in air if that's happening, but hopefully we do go into a bull run and we see the profitability of all these miners go up a little bit more. Looking at the hash rate of the Alephium network, obviously we had that massive FPGA/ASIC farm coming in, and they subsequently partnered with Radiant Coin, which was not very good for Radiant. However, it was at around 700 terahash back then when that started to come online. I don't know if people have been adding to this with the AL box. Obviously this makes up a majority of the new hash rate coming on, but there might also be other people out there that have FPGA farms that actually want to come onto the network as well. So we're just seeing a basically doubling in hash rate in the past 3 months, which is making profitability extra hard for people. If this FPGA/ASIC farm didn't come online, the profitabilities would be slightly better. But obviously Goldshell ASICs are coming online as well. Then on the pools, this hash rate has actually dropped down a little bit. It was at around 70%, but now it's dropped down to 55.3. So if you are on Hero Miners, I do advise switching over. We don't really want more than 50% on one pool. Because it's high blocks per second, there's enough blocks to go around, so pools will get blocks at a decent rate. Same with Casper. This is the one thing with Bitcoin, if you're starting a Bitcoin mining pool, you don't necessarily get blocks that often, but with these high blocks per second chains like Alephium or Casper, there's enough blocks to go around, so even smaller pools will be able to get blocks, and even solo mining becomes a lot more feasible. If we're talking about that as well for Casper coin, when that 10 blocks per second comes in, solo mining is going to be very, very viable. Not in the way that you would be making more money, but you'd be able to at least hit blocks with lower hash rates. The supply is nearly halfway done. We probably will see proof of less work coming in if there's obviously more miners coming online. We have Goldshell. I think Bitmain's definitely got it in the locker somewhere and they're going to come out and release it soon. Average blocks times after the update that came through, so the Roan update has dropped all the way down to 18.5 seconds on average, whereas previously it was 64 seconds on average. But overall, if you want my opinion on if you should buy this, I personally wouldn't. The price at 8,000 would be way too high. If it was at 4,000, as you see with the first AL box, I would be inclined to buy it at 4,000, but anything above that, I can't really justify the ROI times and the electricity prices that are going into it, plus the price of Alephium also going down at the same time. But it could also be one of those plays where you stack a lot of Alephium right now if you have one of these, or at least mining on an FPGA or even a GPU if you really still are and you have low power costs. But personally, if it's not the right price, maybe 4,000, 5,000, I wouldn't necessarily buy one of these at current times. I would personally take that money and put it into Alephium, because Alephium's price is low right now. It has way more to gain, I believe, in the next bull run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the AL box too. Make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content like this.